What's up, everybody? Welcome for another weekly Q&A. It's getting around Christmas time. You guys got lots of cool questions here. And just a little quick announcement before we get into the Q&A. I made a little post in the Facebook group for those of you guys who are in there and aren't watching this on YouTube. We have got a system right now, by the way, using direct mail, and it's especially useful for those of you guys who have had Facebook ad accounts banned or whatever, or restricted. I know there's a lot of you. I'm one of them. Beautiful thing about direct mail, besides that we're getting clients for like 150 to 250 bucks depending on the niche, is more that like you don't have all the rules with direct mail, so it's kind of amazing. Like the postman doesn't say you can't say this, and you know, obviously like they deliver it, so and it tends to stand out. I like to zig when everyone else is zag. So on that announcement, I'm going to be giving you guys a free little training walking you through how we're doing that, and then I'm also planning on having a little mini workshop for those of you guys who are interested in having that get built. But I'll lay out how we're doing it. If you want to build it on your own, that's totally cool. So without further ado, let's get into the actual Q&A, the meat and potatoes here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings you our weekly Q&A. All right, this is a long one here. MK Sheikh. Hey everyone, this is Sheikh from Karachi, Pakistan, and I just learned from Frankie and Beyond Agency via Josh Nelson's newsletter. Excited to be part of this group. Tons of useful content here already that I'm exploring while I'm eagerly awaiting for the group to DM me that $9.99 elite training program. I guess that's what most agency groups do. About my agency, I've been running SkyQuest for the last 6 years now, and we are a team of 10. We started as an e-commerce focused agency that switched to a generalist mode in 2019, thinking it'll grow our business, which obviously it didn't. Since 95% of our clients to date are from no other industry but e-commerce, so I realize it's better to keep focusing on areas we're good at. We've worked with pretty big names like Japan Tobacco, Logic Vapes, and MasterCard, so I already have a decent portfolio and case studies. Some of these clients are with us for more than 3 years now. Typical projects are like 10K to 20K paid in milestones over 3 to 4 months, which mostly involve development and then work maintenance contracts billed up front annually. This is exclusive of the minor upsells we do. Challenge. Selecting a niche. We only work with B2B and DTC e-commerce brands, but since both clients come from different industries like consumer goods, apparel, and luxury, so figuring out what's the best approach to niche down. Filling up the pipeline with appointments. Currently, we've got 3 to 5 inquiries every month through referrals or from potential clients who find us in Google search or via a few agency directories. Most prospects ghost us after receiving proposals or keeping us waiting for weeks, and we hardly close 1 or 2 clients a month. I know the numbers are very low, but the deals we close off pay off our bills, keep us moving, considering low operational costs in my country. Crafting the offer. Honestly, I'm not very good at this. Most clients are asking for web design, development, marketing, maintenance, and I'm having trouble packaging it as a program or productized service that could be charged on a recurring basis. Looking forward to the valuable suggestions and tips. Thanks in advance. My friend, that was a mouthful. But thank you for the long introductory post. So here's the deal, okay? I'll tell you the biggest reason to pick a niche. And it's not what people think it is. Like, it's like people think a niche because it'll be easier to sell. And there's truth in that, but it's actually easier to scale. Because I'll tell you, when you start signing clients, operations become a way bigger problem than signing clients. Like you actually delivering on the promises and building teams and systematizing. When your product delivery is this tiny that you could deliver it through a keyhole and do it predictably over and over and over for clients, scale becomes easy because you're just doing the same shit over and over. When you have like 20, 30, too much customization, like scale's really, really hard. So if you niche down further than just e-commerce, you will make your life so much easier both on a selling and delivering front. So my question to you is like, who are the clients who are most happy with you already? And how can you clone those people? We almost always think that we want to go after everybody. And I've always said this, when you run a lifestyle agency, you're not going to ever really have more than 100 clients. Ask me how I know, because when you get to 100 clients at once, there's no part of you that thinks what I need right now is 200 clients or 300 clients, for real, like 100 clients. So what you really want to do is, like, if you're going to max at 100 clients, like, narrow that shit down really, really tightly. So there's some clues in there about clients that you've really helped in the past, and there's also clues about what clients are asking you for. They're asking you for web design and development, marketing, and maintenance. So, like, they're telling you what to package. Like, you just got to figure out what the ones have already bought and turn that into a package someone else. Also, it sounds like you're getting a good part of your business through referrals, and that's a really good sign. It means you're actually honoring the promises you're doing, and people are happy with you, and you're doing a good job setting expectations and all those kind of things. Here's the deal. Like, most people get referrals on accident, and I'm not saying, like, you shouldn't get referrals on accident, but you can intend referrals too. Like, I'll give you an example, okay? I have friends, a lot of them, who do Facebook ads, and one of the things that I'm always saying is, like, okay, if you want people to refer you, then one of the things you can do is create a little, hey, this is a free account audit coupon, little voucher. It's worth $1,000, and I can usually show you how to save money, and you can pick the niche on that little voucher. Like, in my case, it would be personal injury, but whatever your kind of niche is. And so you can give those things out to clients and to people and to prospects and things like that, and intend referrals. So it sounds like you're getting what I call accidental referrals, which are cool and they help, but make your referrals happen on purpose for the kinds of people you want. So the biggest thing that you have going is that you've helped some clients on purpose. So the question I always ask myself, who are the best clients I've had and what do they have in common? And who are the worst clients I've ever had and what do they have in common? And your niche is in your best clients. Just clone your best clients and the whole thing will get easier from both a scale and a selling package. Without any more details about your offer, it's hard to say for sure. But almost always, it's your niche is too big, not too small. It's almost always backwards from how we think. Because we think, I want to get millions of people. I want to build this multi-million-dollar agency. And actually, you want just like 50 people you're doing the same damn shit for over and over, like max. Ayub. Frankie often talks about the no-risk first date for the client to have a feel of what we, the agency, can achieve without major commitments and possible loss from their side. And in every video he makes, Frankie usually mentions SEO as a counter example. How can I offer my clients a first date to an SEO? I'm sorry, Ayub. I'm not shitting on SEO as a whole. I think it's a great thing for those of you guys who do it, and you can really add a lot to business. I've helped triple and quadruple and 10x businesses through SEO, so I'm like not giving you a hard time. I'm saying the typical SEO offer is broken because the offer sounds like, give me money, wait a long ass time, give me money every month, I should say, usually for like a year, wait a long ass time, and maybe it'll work. Okay, so when you think about a first date, what you're always trying to do, and by the way, the first date is more for you than for the client. It's you want to make sure the client is cool with you to work with, but it also happens to be easier to sell. So what you want to do is think about a condensed version where you can deliver a result. So there are some offers that that we're working on right now that are cold traffic driven, and so there's just no instant gratification. And so our first date is a 90-day trial, right? So what could you do in 90 days with your SEO? Or maybe, for example, maybe you just pick one or two or a couple, like maybe 5 keywords or something like that, that you can help them rank quicker and show them like some kind of progress rather than having them commit to a giant package. And I'm telling you, this is just as much for you as it is for the client, because pain in the ass clients will ruin your fucking day. For real. Like, I'll tell you, if you got 20 clients in your agency and 2 of them are bad clients, when you go to sleep at night and your head is on that pillow, you will be stressing about trying to keep those 2 clients happy. And it's way easier just to have 18 happy people than it is to have 20 and 2 miserable ones. And if you've agreed to a year-long contract, what do you do about those 2 clients, right? You got to try and do whatever you can to make them happy. If you've done a first date and they turned out to be like miserable assholes, you just don't give them a second date. You just don't offer them more. And so it really protects you from crazy, like ruin your day kind of just clients that'll never be happy. So that's what I think about with your SEO is what could you deliver in a short period of time? Could it be a keyword? Could it be a landing page? Could you optimize a map listing? Or, oh, sorry, I'm old school, a My Business listing. But what could you do if, like, maybe if you were constricted to like 90 days or even 60 days? Like, you want to think about what's the fastest thing you could do to move the needle. So for me, like, for example, if I was in your shoes doing SEO, I might find just a couple of low-hanging fruit keywords that I'm like, shit, like, these don't have a ton of competition. So instead of like spending millions of dollars together doing SEO, like, why don't I just show you, like, I'll get you up front for these 2 keywords and we'll just do a small little first date, and if you like it, we can do more. It's an easy foot in the door, and it gives you a way to feel people out. Nikki Two Angels, my man, says, I have a question about marketing for restaurants. On the website, is there an optimal place to have the pictures of their food? Would it be the top of page, sort of navigate it? So it's one of the first things you see on their website. I don't know if there's necessarily an optimal place, but this is part of a deeper concept that we've talked about in this group. There's a really awesome training, if you guys haven't seen it, called Dramatic Demonstrations. And I'll tell you, if you can show a client visually what you're going to do for them, selling is 1,000 times easier, because most people are just saying, I'll get you more sales and more clients and more business. And so when you can show people visually, it's infinitely more powerful than just saying it with words. And so what does a restaurant sell? Well, they sell the experience of food. Obviously, if you're at the restaurant, you can smell the food, and there's more experiential factors. But the biggest thing is if they can see what the food looks like. So what I'll tell you, what's really, really key is they have to be nice looking pictures, but also look real. If they look too magazine and too overproduced, it doesn't look like the real food. Like, everybody's had the experience, if you've ever eaten at McDonald's in your life, that you see the picture of the Big Mac, and then you get the Big Mac, and the Big Mac don't look anything like the picture. So the pictures have to look like, in a way, like a level less than like professional, but also like they have to just look real. If you do that, like, the food will sell itself, especially if you guys have specials and you're actually making real offers to people and things like that. But I don't know if there's an optimal place for the food, but I don't think you can show too much of it. And the other thing is, what a lot of restaurants struggle with is standing out, highlighting a menu. Like, I watched probably too many food and cooking shows, but I just saw a dude who had a 3-layer, it was a pie/cake. So in it had 3 little pies, and inside they stuck the pie inside a cake batter and then baked a cake. And you would cut open, and each layer had a different flavor. The whole thing was ridiculous, and it was on like one of those worth it things. It was $250 for this one cake, but it gave them a reason to stand out. So that's the other thing a lot of restaurants struggle with. In my experience, like, I have my hometown, there's like 100 restaurants that all have the same menu, and they all copycat each other, and they're all boring, and they're all plain, and they try and do too many things. Like, if anything, make that restaurant known for one thing and then demonstrate that one thing front and center. That's the way you can help a restaurant stand out from the noise. Christine, Frankie, you talk a lot about shoe buyers, and I understand what you mean. However, I'm getting stuck when I think about my offer. If people are already having folks doing Facebook ads for them, and Facebook ads is my offer, how can I persuade them to work with me? I understand when you said the aim isn't to get them to fire their current Facebook ads person, but to hire you as well. Guess I'm just not sure how to offer the same thing in a different way. Any advice or ideas would be welcome. Christine, this is a really good question, okay? And if you understand the implications of the answer of this question, sales will become very easy. If you don't, you'll do what most people do, and you'll make it really fucking hard. Okay, so there's a couple of things that are in there, okay? The first thing I want to tell you is that your offer is not Facebook ads. I call that your hammer, and that's like one of my things my mentor built. A hammer can be used for a million different things. Like I say, like, a hammer can be used to remodel a kitchen. A hammer can be used to build a birdhouse to make your daughter smile, right? A hammer can be used. Hey, she's right here watching right now. Cool. A hammer can be used to commit murder. You can beat an ex-wife over the head if you want to, right? So a hammer has a whole bunch of uses. So Facebook ads is a hammer. Like, when you look at, the offer I've ran for mostly for the last year is our motorcycle cases, right? I just happen to generate motorcycle cases with Facebook ads, but I ain't selling Facebook ads. I'm selling the result of the Facebook ads, okay? And this, I understand, it's really, really key, because people are not buying what you are doing for them. They are buying what you are going to get done for them. So my question is, in your niche, what are you going to build with Facebook ads? What are you going to create? What's going to actually get done? And I'll tell you, the simplest thing to stand out from the noise is the concept I've mentioned a whole bunch of times, but when you repeat it, you really get it, is we treat leads like they're all equal, and they ain't. There's what I call the $100 bill and the nickel. And dentistry is a great example. I've probably beaten this one to death, but you guys hear me. It makes the point. If you get a dentist a $35,000, $40,000 set of veneers, that's like a $100 bill. If you bring a dentist a $99 checkup, like what most people are doing, or Invisalign, and you sell like a gazillion of Invisalign. He makes no money off of it. He sees all these people and dentists like their neck and back hurt. So you want to ask your niche, say, what are the clients you wish you had more of? In other words, who are the $100 bills for you, the recurring high-end stuff? And use Facebook ads to generate that. And what you'll find is almost always none of the other Facebook ads people are doing that. So it gives you a way to stand out, and so you can add on with your Facebook ads. Like our motorcycle case is a really good example of that. They say, we have a Facebook ads person, and I say, is your Facebook ads person currently like focusing on generating motorcycle cases for you? No, they're just running motor vehicle accident, kind of generic. Okay, well, let them do their thing and we'll do our thing, right? We add on to what you guys are trying to do. And so I've mentioned this in the post, but it's this for everyone else who's listening as well. There's a huge difference between adding on and replacing. And when you understand this, what happens is most people are trying to replace. Replace looks like this. By the way, for any client, when they try and replace somebody, we don't think about this, but if you do Google AdWords and you pitch Google AdWords, a Mo Better offer, as I call it, where you're going to be like, I do better Google AdWords, they got to fire that person. So they got to write an email and say, dear other person, you no longer work here. We're kicking you out of the account. They got to remove them from the account. They got to say sorry. They got to cancel the payments. They got to add that person to the account. Or they got to add you to the account. They got to go through meetings. They got to go through onboarding. That's what replacement looks like. So that's a lot of uphill movement. Adding on, like I say, a really good example is all the people selling messenger bots right now. Hey, we're running Facebook ads. Well, you know what would add on to that really well? A messenger bot, because it'll help you convert more of the ads that you're already running, and it doesn't replace anybody. So there's no one to fire, there's no one to kick out. They can add you into it. So you want to take some time and be very intentional and think about, who are the $100 people in my niche? How can I add on? And what you will do is you will use your hammer to build something unique for them. And then you'll be in your own category of one, and you will compete with nobody, and getting your foot in the door is a whole bunch easier, right? When I just say, like, I can literally walk into a personal injury group and say, who here does motorcycle cases? And they'll go, me. And I'll go, do you want me to bring you some? And at least some of them will say, yeah. But that's because I'm walking in, I'm adding on and adding $100 bills to their business. So there is a $100 bill add-on in every single niche. Figure out what it is in yours, and you'll make your life so much easier. Well, quite literally, you're trying to look to attract those who remodel kitchens. Well, so what I would ask them is like, ask them, like the people who are doing remodeling kitchens, like what are the best kind of kitchen jobs? Because what you'll find, Christine, if you do this, is often they'll say, I really like working with the home builders, or the kind of people who like remodel a kitchen like 3 times a week. And so I'm looking for those kind of jobs. And if you help bring them home builders and like really high-end kind of clients, for one, you don't need to run a lot of Facebook ads to do that, and you can be very, very impactful. We've got a couple of people in our mastermind right now, and their sole business is to generate those like really big, like kind of power partner leads. And you can bring somebody like 5 leads a year if they're power partners, if they're the kind of person who has steady, ongoing, predictable work. So we never want to treat leads like they're equals. So the best thing you do is just find out from these people what kind of jobs they most want. And when you do that, like figure out a way to bring them. Your hammer is Facebook ads, but your offer is not Facebook ads. And when you can separate those two things, you can really stand out. All right, that was a good rant. Next question, we got Buffy here. Buffy says, my Instagram account has not grown in almost 2 years. The follower count is stagnant. No, I have never purchased followers, and I don't appear to be shadow banned. Should I delete the page and start over completely with a new account? I currently have over 200K followers, which took over 6 years to build. Don't know what else to do. Buffy, I have a very counterintuitive opinion than most on that. And I don't want to be harsh, but I'll tell you, followers is a fucking meaningless number. Absolutely fucking meaningless. And I'll tell you, I was dealing with a lady a couple of years ago, and she was really famous for her butt. She was like a butt model, for real. Like it was a real thing. I don't even remember how I got introduced, but they said, here's this lady who's famous for her butt. She had 250,000 followers on like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and collectively, and there was some overlap in those, but like she had like a legit 250,000 people following her. And I remember discussing with her, I said, like, how much money do you make with your following so far? And she went, 0. Okay. I've pulled like $100,000 out of a Facebook group of like 50 people. All right. So the answer is not numbers. The answer is not just volume. And Christine mentioned a concept a minute ago that I call the shoe buyers, which is if I want people who follow me, I want people who buy shit to follow me. I don't just want random like internet likers, like, you know, if that helps your ego and stuff like that, go for it. But I think most of us are in business to deliver valuable products and services, to like actually like get our services in the hands of clients and help them and help our families and grow our own lifestyle and grow our clients' lifestyle and that kind of thing. And that has nothing to do with number of followers. If anything, I would tell you to start cleaning house and start removing people that like are just vanity followers and start really focusing on the buyers. Because like I said, I've firsthand experience, like I can pull out more money, more of the monies with a 50-person Facebook group than a lot of people can out of hundreds of thousands of followers. And it comes down to the shoe buyers concept, which for those of you guys who haven't heard me say this before, the concept is really, really simple, is that if you consider like your service to be like selling shoes, what most people are trying to do is sell shoes to people who are barefoot because they need it, right? Like it just makes logical sense. Like somebody who has a business that could really benefit from marketing, you're trying to sell marketing to somebody who could really benefit from it. But if they're not buying shoes already, it's just an endless uphill battle. And so instead you want to actually focus on the person who has 200 pairs of shoes in their closet. So for us, that would be like AdWords and website design and SEO and Facebook ads. I look for people who are buying all those things. Like in my niche, also TV and radio and billboards. Like I want to talk to the lawyers who are spending money, right? Because those are the guys who are going to do stuff. And so when you think about that, I look for behaviors that they already got shoes in the closet. And so the easiest place to go get that business is at the other shoe stores. So you're stuck in a situation where, at least it sounds like to me, you got a vanity metric. Click-through rate is a vanity metric. A follower count is a vanity metric. And if you measure your business by vanity metrics, last I checked, I cannot go pay my bills in followers. I cannot go pay my bills in click-through rate. I cannot pay my bills in followers and all those things. So focus on the real metrics. And I'll tell you, the biggest hidden metric of them all that everybody misses are the right people coming out the other side. Like you with your machine, and people miss this because they look at numbers and they'll say, well, I'm getting 17% opt-in rate or whatever, right? And I'm like, well, are those the people you want to be bringing? Well, not really. They're kind of the wrong. Well, then who cares, right? Like 17% of the wrong people is a meaningless number. So you want to get really clear about who you're trying to bring and then focus on that number ruthlessly. And then you'll notice that a lot of times your vanity metrics clean themselves up, because what ends up happening, you want to know the biggest way to have a big following? And a mentor of mine really, really made this clear many years ago. He said, be able to monetize a small following. If you can monetize a small following, a big following is inevitable. So, hope that's helpful. Cool name here, Baudouin, French name. Does anyone have any experience with doing database reactivation for e-commerce? Database reactivation, by the way, works. And it's not necessarily like for e-commerce that makes it any different. I'll tell you the biggest thing that makes it a difference is, when is the last time they heard from you, and what relationship do they currently hold with you? So I'll give you an example. Like if you have, like I've had lawyers who I'm doing a database reactivation for who have literally not emailed their clients in 20 fucking years. Right? So if you're emailing a client and they haven't heard from you in 20 years, that is a very different approach than if they heard from you 2 weeks ago. So when they haven't heard from me from 20 years, I just like write my opening message is like, thank you so much. We really appreciate your business. I know we don't say this enough, but you guys have meant so much to us. We'd love to give back to you. We got this special little VIP line. It's just for if you need any help. And I'd love to be able to introduce you to in our world. But I just wanted to say thank you. It's meant a lot. And I probably haven't kept in good enough contact all these years. So you got to take it from where the relationship is. And then the basics of database reactivation are really fucking simple. Say thank you, give them value. Say thank you, give them value. And that's all those two things. I don't know why it's blurry on this side over here. I got blurry hand going on. But that's basically it. How do you activate? But you got to start with where the relationship is. If they haven't heard from you in a long time, tread carefully. Right? If they heard from you a week ago, you can probably just hit them with an offer. And, like without all the pleasantries and all those kind of things. So that's all database reactivation is. And I'll give you a little shortcut on this, by the way. You want to have the easiest database reactivation in your entire fucking life? Offer them what they already bought. It sounds so counterintuitive because we think, why would they buy more of what they just bought, especially in e-commerce? But they buy more because maybe I'll give you a real life example. Okay, I have a friend who sells cannabis vaporizers. That's his niche. And he was like, hey, I want to run a reactivation campaign. And I want to make this offer. And I was like, okay, offer them another vaporizer. And he's like, oh, can't do that. They already bought one. And I was like, well, maybe they want to have two because they're like, got one for home and one for work, or one for the car, or maybe they want to buy one for a friend or a present. Like, there's lots of reasons people would buy a second one if you just make the damn offer. So that's my shortcut for what to reactivate is say thank you and then offer them more of what they just bought. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's the easiest, simplest money you'll ever make in your life. All right, Paul. I delivered the value 10 by 10 video, and he definitely sees the value and need for SEO. I ran a Bright Local report for him to have some ideas of where he was at, but he didn't tell him about it in his call, since that's more of a strategy session. He's not ranking above 50th place in a lot of places. He definitely would benefit from SEO work for sure. However, toward the end of the call, he asked, how much are we looking at? Question. I told him it depended on how hard and fast he wanted to drive this thing, and then I have packages ranging from $1,200 to $3,400 a month. His reply was, I'm definitely interested, but I'd like to see what happens with my new website in the next month or two. Should I send him the Bright Local report, or maybe make him a Loom video that goes over the report to further show him he needs to put in the work on his SEO now instead of later? I really need to close this guy in a bad way just to keep my head above water. I thought about offering him a deal as a case study client and then lowering the cost of my base SEO package just to generate some results and some momentum to use for other clients. What do you guys think? Paul, I'm going to give you a big secret here with dealing with local businesses, which in your case it sounds like you are, in selling local SEO. Is, okay, so the objection you're getting, by the way, if I like read between the lines of what's happening there, it's a value-based objection, because he doesn't, and this happens often, is they don't understand necessarily how SEO translates to real-life business and real-life paychecks. And so it's also like it's a future gain kind of thing, like to say like, hey, you'll be richer in 12 months than you are today because we got you number one in the Google. And so what local businesses respond to more than anything is losing money today. And as an added bonus, I'll tell you something, that every local business, they are hyper aware of their competition. And so where I would take that is not try and send them a Bright Local report and hit them with a bunch of tech analysis and those things, is grab a keyword that he should be ranking for and is not, or she, and name them. Say, hey, did you know there are 1,000 people a month who are searching this keyword who are going to company X right now instead of you? And show him just how much business he's losing. And I would take that down and be more specific. So I would say, at 1,000, like when I would do this with plastic surgeons, to give you a real life example, I'd say, okay, I just searched for Mommy Makeover Dallas. We know this is a $40,000 surgery, and there's 1,000 searches a month, and right now these are the top 3 people. And so, do you know that Dr. X and Dr. Y are like taking all your business right now on that keyword? Do you understand that like these guys are probably making like a couple $100,000 a month just off this one keyword that could be yours if you were in front of them? Are you aware that like right now, today, they're calling those people and not you? Because when it sets in that it's this, not solving this problem is actually costing them right now, today, they suddenly see value in fucking moving. And this is a deeper thing that I haven't really talked about outside of our mastermind. I'm going to give it to you guys. I'm in a Christmas giving mood here. When companies assess risk, they typically assess the risk of moving forward. So in other words, like risk of, like, if I hire you for SEO, that's a risk. I could spend money and it could not work out. But they very rarely counter that risk with the risk of not doing anything at all. And so it's very key that you show them that there is a cost in a risk of not moving, which is Dr. X and Dr. Y are going to keep taking your business for the next 12 months. Like, how long do you want to be okay with that? And usually if it's a local business, they know who their local competitors are by name. They've seen their office. They've seen their commercials. They know who they are. And they almost always think, like, I'm a better lawyer, doctor, surgeon, accountant than they are. And so when you can show them, like, hey, Dr. X is crushing you right now, then suddenly they'll see value in solving that problem, because what's happening is you're probably selling the future gain of, like, hey, Here's what will happen when I get you number one. And that sounds cool. That's like an investment. But if you can solve an immediate problem of like you're losing now, and if you wait tomorrow and the day after, you're only going to lose more and more. It's suddenly they develop the motivation and they'll see the value in wanting to move. So you got to put that in terms of a present day problem that they can understand. So I hope that's helpful, Paul. Sonda, morning friends. Question, what do you guys think about something like powered by your agency name with a link to your website on your client's website? Thus far, I have been of the mindset that it's a bit tacky to self-promote on a website that a client is paid for, which is their property. However, I see more and more agencies are doing this. I'm always open to changing my mind. Have you guys found to be the best practice for this? Is it more on a case-by-case basis with your relationship with the client? Thank you for your insights. Sonda, in my experience, that is way more your issue than the client's. Clients generally don't care if you put a little footer link. It's good for SEO. It also probably you'll get about 30% of your referral from people who go, hey, I like that site. Who designed it? So by not putting on there, they can't hire you. It's really not a big deal in my experience. Like that's just, clients come from those kind of things. And it's actually a benefit because it gives them a way to find you. And most clients don't really care if there's just like a little footer link. So put it in there. Try it out. Like whenever you have those situations of like, does this work? Does this not work? The best thing to do, just try it in the real world instead of getting stuck up in here. But I'll tell you from experience, you will get referrals from it and you will get like, SEO benefits from it for having backlinks on the bottom of their site. And in my experience, like 0% of clients think of it as a big deal, even though it feels like a big deal to you. Ali Kurgati. Hey everyone, here's a question up for debate. What do you prioritize the most when choosing the best keyword to use? Is it search volume, AdWords, CPC, or keyword difficulty? Let's say out of the top three choices, all have different figures. Well, except for the most searched one, which has a higher difficulty score. Ollie, as usual, I got a different answer than everybody. I don't know. I just seem to be the one guy who's got a different opinion in this agency space than everybody else. I don't know why that is, but I have a different opinion. Okay, I'll tell you, this was my experience. The first website I ever ranked was a real estate investing website that I went with on a... thank you, Christine. Or Christian. Oh, my man. Sorry. There's my man. So I did a real estate website, and I ended up getting number 2 for the keyword real estate investing, which is a very, very big... And I would sometimes bounce to number 1 and number 2. And I would kind of like be between those spots, and I would get between 60 and 100,000 visitors a month, every single month, like clockwork. On those two, on that just that one keyword, I would get like 2,000-3,000 visitors every single day. And you know how many sales I made that? Like pretty close to zero. I'd probably say I monetized that between $100 and $500. Now, knowing what I know now, I could have done much better, but we didn't sell a whole lot of courses from real estate investing, despite that mountain of traffic. Okay. One day I decided to go after a keyword, short sale course. Short sale course had like 100 to 200 searches a month. It was very, very small, and I would make 15 or so sales off of that one keyword. Very small amount of traffic, but the traffic would convert because we had a short sale course that people were looking for. And I'll tell you, the biggest hidden metric in any keyword is buyer intent. Is that a keyword someone looking to buy, or is that a keyword looking for somebody looking for information? Now, you can make money off of the information, so I'm not saying don't do that. I should have captured them on an email list and warmed them up to the idea of buying. But I'll tell you, if I could just do one thing, instead of looking at search volume, all those things, because it didn't make sense to me in the beginning that I could have a keyword with 100 people searching it that would make 15 sales, and I would have almost 100,000 people, and I would make less sales from the 100,000 people. But in hindsight, I was able to see that, well, this happens because when somebody searches short sale course is something you buy, right? Like when you search for a course, you're looking, at least considering the idea of buying, as where if you search real estate investing, you're just looking for all kinds of general information, right? So it really help to get dialed in. So that's the first thing I look for. What is the mindset of somebody searching that keyword? And that's kind of like one of those hidden metrics that you can't easily translate, but got to go after it. Bicky, is it normal to get 3 times ROAS, return on ad spend, one day, and the next day sales just plummet? Only if you're running Facebook ads, Vicky. That's pretty normal, especially around Christmas time, by the way. I wouldn't freak out. Like, the longer you do this, there's just ebb and flow to it. But Facebook ads, like, there's no offer you're going to be able to run forever, so you're going to have to like tweak it and cycle things. But yeah, it's normal for your ads to drop one day quickly, especially around Christmas. It's normal. Anthony, what are some of the best offer that an insurance agency can offer that specializes in home insurance and auto can offer? Anthony, I don't know the answer of what the best offer is, but I can tell you how to find the best offer in your niche. And that is, go online and start doing some research about what people absolutely fucking hate about buying insurance. And I'll give you a real life example so you can see what I mean, like how you use this information. So I have a friend who, he also helps lawyers, but he does it in other niches. And one of the niches he helps out is in real estate lawyers. Now, real estate lawyers get their business primarily from two places: real estate agents, mortgage brokers. Real estate agents, mortgage brokers. Those are like the two main people. And as a general rule, most of the people in that space are trying to compete on price. I'll close your home for $399. I'll close your home for $349, right? Like, that's how most of them are trying to compete. And he just asked this one question, like, what do people hate about hiring a real estate lawyer? And I'll tell you the answer that he found is, this is a common scenario that comes up, is a real estate lawyer closes a deal and then he takes forever to finish the paperwork. And what ends up happening is it takes a month for the mortgage broker and the real estate agent, or both of them, or either or, to get their commission check. So they close a deal and then they wait a month for this lawyer to send him a check. And of course, a lot of these guys are check to check, commission to commission, depending on this check, and they're waiting like, please, can you give it to me? So he created once he found out that was the worst part of dealing with him, he created a simple offer that said, I will get you your commission check in 48 hours or less, and I will FedEx it to you even on weekends. He literally got slammed with an avalanche of business by solving that one problem. So there's something that people hate about buying insurance. Find out what it is and solve that thing, and you'll be able to like create an offer that sells itself and stand out with very, very little resistance on that. So I don't know what that is, but you could find that in 20, 30 minutes of searching on Google, just like what's the shittiest part about buying car insurance, home insurance, and so forth, and solve that problem. And what you'll find is like the whole thing will get easier, and you'll stop having to compete on price. That's all we got for questions. Just a little reminder, I will be releasing that direct mail training probably in the next day or two. It depends just kind of what's going on with kids and birthday parties and Christmas, and we got a whole bunch of people with birthday parties and stuff like that. But I'm going to show you guys what we're doing with direct mail. It's my favorite stuff. I love to zig when everybody else zags. I'm really, really key. If everybody else is sending emails and everybody else is running Facebook ads, then I go in the mailbox where there's zero competition. It allows us to really stand out. We can personalize it, and it doesn't really matter because the mailman's not going to ban your mail account. So it's old school, it works. So I'll be sharing that training with you guys. And then I mentioned there will be a workshop for those of you guys who are interested in getting it built. It'll be obviously after Christmas, but I'll share some details with you guys, and I think you're going to really like it, because when you do this, it's the most predictable system there is for getting biz in the door to show up consistently. So that's all I got for you guys this way. This is a little bit of a longer Q&A, but I don't know, I'm happy. We had a nice beach morning with the kids and my buddy Jesse. So that's all I got for you guys. May the force be with you, and have a good one, everybody.